How do you know if your marriage was joined by God? That's very simple. Just ask yourself, did I go to God and told God that give me a wife or give me a husband in prayers? And after I made those prayers, God replied me and said, this is your wife or this is your husband. If you are 100% sure that it was God that joined you together, then that is a marriage joined by God. But the question you want to ask is this: how many Christians really go to God and can vouch that he had confirmation from God that so man or so woman is the rightful woman or husband to get married to? Very few. So we can all agree and say very few marriages are genuinely joined by God. All other marriages, probably up to 80% or 90%, were just arrangements, were just lost, were just joined together by sight, or they were carried away. Like they say, they fall in love. So now you can know exactly the marriage that was joined by God. So if your marriage was joined by God, God doesn't expect you to divorce each other. Why? Because it's joined by God. Why? Because the partner that you married was the woman or the man that God destined for your life. And God has sees the future, that knows the end and the beginning, knows the reason why the two of you are best fit for each other. God don't want such marriages to be divorced. There is always a way out. Go to God, work out the marriage. Talk to each other, work out the marriage. Now let's talk about all other marriages. Marriages that were joined because people just marry out of lust, out of physical love, all kind of arrangements that led to marriage. Some people got married because they impregnated a lady and they said they must marry them. Some people got married because their parents insisted that the two of them must marry. Some people got married because one of the partner used diabolical means to get the other partner and got him or her married. You see, some people married because they've made a promise or they've made a covenant to marry somebody and they must not break that marriage. Some people married out of fear. Some people married because the other partner is rich. You see, all these factors, they are common factors that led to marriages. A lot of people married out of ignorance. They don't even understand marriages. They just went in and married because everybody is married. The folly of doing what everybody does. And at the end of the day, they got married. And then what follows such marriages? There's no love, disagreement, misunderstanding. And at the end of the day, they're talking about divorce. So such marriages were not joined by God. So anything can happen. Marriages that were not joined by God, if it comes to the point where it becomes a risk or totally unresolvable situation that demands that the two partners must separate, then they have to separate because the marriage was not joined by God. Because it's written, whatsoever God has joined, let no one separate it. That is, whatsoever God has joined. So that settles the case. Now there's another case. A lot of people have become Christians after they had married wrongly. You know, they weren't Christians before, and they got married, and now, after many years, they became Christians. And then they start going to church. And then the pastor now say, okay, you are married, you cannot separate. But the marriage is going through turbulence, a serious turbulence that becomes so risky or life-threatening that is so difficult to solve except there is divine intervention. Now, this is the answer. You were married but not joined by God at the onset, and after which you became Christian. But now that you are Christian, you still have the problem of the beginning because the two of you weren't made for each other. The problem continues with you even when you became Christian. You see what I'm saying? The covenant, the wrong covenant from the beginning, now is bringing out problems even when you become a Christian. So what do? In that situation, your marriage was not joined by God. But now you are a Christian. Make it work. Did you not say both of you are Christians? So what's the problem? If genuinely the two of you are Christians, and you got to do what you have to do, and genuinely the Bible is the one that is living the lives of the two of you, then what's the problem? Why must you bring divorce to the table? Did you understand? So which means there is a problem. There is a serious problem. Something is wrong with your Christianity. Something is definitely wrong with your Christianity. Something is lacking. Lack of wisdom. The knowledge is not really concrete. Something is really wrong. But this is the will of God. Try and resolve it. Go for counseling. Go to the right people that understand marriage. It's not every minister or pastor or archbishop that understands the stability of marriage. It's not every church that understands the stability of marriage. It's just like the blind leading the blind. They don't even know what they are teaching. They only heard the teaching and they are also passing it forward. They don't understand. Even in their own homes, the pastors that are claiming that no, this is the standard of the Bible, even in their own homes, they don't have peace. If they can separate from their husband or wife, they will have done that. But they can't. They are held down by the doctrine of the church. And so they pass the same difficulty to people that have the access of divorcing when it becomes necessary. So in climax, what are we saying? If you are 100% sure, and before you can be sure, number one, you have to be a Christian, because you cannot pray to God and ask God to give you a wife or a husband when you are not a Christian, because God doesn't listen to the prayers of sinners. It's only grace that rests on sinners. So we want to believe that for God to join you, both of you, you were Christians, and that was why God joined you together. So as a result, you can't separate. Except God told you to separate, because He was the one that joined you. But for other marriages that were not joined by God, circumstances, genuine circumstances, and I repeat, genuine circumstances, not a false circumstances or pretentious ones, genuine circumstances can lead to divorce. Remain blessed.